Hey, what's up, Darts here. Just another quick little breakdown of some of the things I missed in the last video about this very, very interesting trailer. Okay, that's been used by this digital company, or I can't remember what they're called now. What they're called? Those are right at the end. Come on. Who are ye? Who are ye? I think it's Chinese. But I'm just going to go through quickly some things I missed. Okay, just I'm basically looking back from my own video. So quickly, I have a quick look at just a few things missed out. First thing we see. Now, remember I said in the last video the connection to the God, basically the knowledge of good and evil. Just in case you don't know, you should know this. But Eve was tempted by Satan, appearing as basically a snake. In my opinion, the snake is symbolic of the waveform, which I talked about in the last video. And he says that if you eat this fruit, then you of the knowledge of good and evil, basically the knowledge of good and evil will be given to you if you eat this fruit, yeah, and you'll be able to do what God does, basically. And in my opinion, that is to basically manipulate binary to waveform to create all this technology, and even, well, basically from the most basic stuff from steam engines all the way up to today's latest, technology like I don't know, well, a tablet, a phone, whatever. But interestingly, we start off this. Obviously, I think they know the biblical references I'm talking about, and it's deliberately put into this video on purpose. So we start off with the first thing we see in the video is this grass growing, symbolic of the Garden of Eden. Yeah, definitely symbolic of the Garden of Eden. So, the advert starts off with grass. The most basic part of any garden is grass. Yeah. So we start off with being inside a garden, the grass growing. Next thing we see is a tree, probably symbolic of the knowledge of either the tree of life or the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Probably the latter. And then we have this here, which I think could be a reference to Jesus. Often you have a reference to fish being used in Christianity as a symbol, because Jesus fed. Actually, let's get that up really quickly so you can see. Let's get that up real quick so you can see that from the Bible about Jesus feeding. So simply type in Jesus fish into Google. The first thing that comes up is this, exactly what I'm talking about. And so it kind of confirms what I'm saying. Okay, so he feeds the fish. Just get that quote up. So there we go. The feeding of the 5,000. The feeding of the 5,000 is also known as the miracle of 5 loaves. So he turns bread into fish. And 2 fish, because the Gospel of John reports that 5 barely loaves and 2 small fish supplied by a boy. Sorry, he didn't turn the bread into fish. Basically used 2 fish and bread to basically feed thousands, 5,000 people, by essentially, well, materialising them out of nothing, I suppose. Or using God, or having God through him to enable people to live off a tiny bit of fish and be sustained by that. Interesting though. The feeding of the 5,000. The feeding of the 5,000 is also known as the miracle of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, because the Gospel of John reports that 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish supplied by a boy were used by Jesus to feed a multitude. So, let's continue. So, we're inside a garden. The most basic element of a garden is grass. Next is the knowledge of good and evil tree, or possibly the tree of life, but I'd say it's a knowledge of good and evil tree. Then we have the fish, symbolic of Jesus, in my opinion. Steam, I said in the last video, you had everything from steam engines, from technology, digital, manipulating binary and digital, from steam engines all the way up to the advanced phones and stuff we have today. But the steam engine was the first major utilization of the binary on and off principle. Yeah, I'll go into that in more detail in the future video. Then we had from that, so you had the binary, basically the the steam engine had had basically pistons created by steam pressure to drive them up and down, yeah, to create the circular motion of the wheels. And then they used that idea and that concept and took it on to create the internal combustion engine. Now, notice several times in this video you'll also see the pentagram or a pentagon. I'm trying to make this too long. It's hard to kind of get to the right part. All right, hold up. Just flash on the screen there really quickly. Piston, car. Right, that's a pentagon, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait a minute, can't quite see. I think it might be a pentagon. So just real quickly, just took an image of that light and just drew in the bits we can't see. And I think that probably does make 8 sides and make it a pentagon or an octagon. Hold on a minute, yeah. Hold on a minute. Now I think I'll leave this part. It's not really clear enough to be able to tell. Yeah, I can't tell what shape that is, where it's an octagon or a pentagon. So I'll leave that. Let's continue. Electricity. The bell symbolism, already gone through that. Humanoid robot arm. What else we got here? Just going to quickly go through it real quickly. Already gone through that. Basically, I think this is symbolic of future brain implants, which Google, for example, want to have. So the guy on the right there with the phone symbol. Basically, Google come out and said they want you to be able to use the internet and you basically do everything, all the functions of a phone from inside your own head with a brain implant. See my last video for breakdown. I'm not going to cover things I've already covered, or try not to anyway. Don't want to repeat the same thing as the last video. Just trying to find anything that I missed in the last one. Taking a closer inspection. Mentioned the lights in the last video. Check it out. Cows. Well, often the people, the controllers, whatever you want to call them, they refer to us as cattle. Yeah. And one of their favourite sayings is, those that have intelligence but choose not to have, those that have intelligence but choose not to use their intelligence are equal to those that have no intelligence and therefore should be treated as such, is what they believe. Those that have intelligence but choose not to use their intelligence are equal to those that have no intelligence and therefore should be treated as such. I don't know who said that, but I know it's something that they, Masons, Zions, whatever you want to call them, have said. That's what they believe. They refer to us as cattle, yeah? The goy. But it's not all about Zion Jews either, because the New Age agenda is being pushed by the East as well, which has nothing to do with, well, the Zion Jews. Okay, so all the Masons. Anything else? Anything else? There's a tree there. I suppose you could say that's... So you had the symbolic reference to the beginning of the tree of knowledge. Or it could be the tree of life. And then here is definitely the tree of knowledge. Perhaps being referenced here. The tree of life could also reference to us, because inside us, if you look at our brains and our, not our brains, well, our lungs and other structures of the body, our vein and vascular system, it all actually looks like the branches of a tree. But maybe I do it in another video. I'll go through that. I think that there is a symbolic reference to the tree of knowledge. Part there. So have a look at it again. So that guy had like a lecture going on just before this. This is the tree of knowledge, in my opinion. There's all the technology that's come out of manipulating binary to waveform. Doing things that only God could do. Yeah? But at what cost? Oh yeah, books there, you had reference to basically knowledge again. Primal source of knowledge is books. With the Atom Smasher and the Hadron Collider, they're always going, and what's it called, CERN, they're always going on about like, you know, trying to basically unlock the keys of the universe, and it's all the same sort of stuff again, you know, trying to basically reach for being gods, or trying to reach a godly-like status, yeah. Again, part of the lie about, you know, Satan promised when Eve ate the apple, or ate the fruit, the forbidden fruit. Notice again the eye symbolism, which I said in the last video, but also I've said before in previous videos that they often use the left eye, also referenced in the Bible, where Satan's blinded the right eye, so they'll often focus on the left eye in their symbolism. And it also has to do with another subject, which I'm going to go into in a future video. It's quite I want to do it properly when I talk about that subject, in my opinion, about the eyes and the symbolic reference. It's not always the left eye, but most of the time when they're using these symbols, it's the left eye they use. And notice inside there, that is a, what is that? Four-sided. That's a six-sided. So it looks like six-sided shape in the center of that eye. Continue. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a pose that often Jesus is seen in. The water symbolism again. That's a pose that Jesus is often depicted in, with the arms out like that. Not every image where that's done is mocking Jesus, but in the context here, I think it is. Remember, these things, these signs and symbols are not always, you know, if you see someone doing their arms out, or see someone doing something else on its own, it doesn't really mean very much. It's when it's all put together in a pattern and a sequence. That's when it's a brainwashing tool, or a mocking tool, or you know, satanic kind of imagery deliberately done. Now, leave in the comments, like I said before in the last video, you see anything going on. There you go. Right, that looks like an eye to me in the center. I said in the last video, but actually looking clear now, it does look like an eye. And to the right hand side of it, you have this kind of triangle shape. But in the center there, that definitely does look like an eye to me, 100%. You even have like a round curved shape over the top of it to look like a eyelid, if you like. And then eyelashes, perhaps. Can't quite tell if it's a left or right eye, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's supposed to be a left eye. That's 100% an eye there. There is lots of wave symbolism in this as well. Sparkler. How many floors does that have? 1, 2, 3. Heaven, earth, and hell, maybe. I'm just looking for sign. I'm just looking and seeing if things match up. Other, you know, don't have to be 100% on everything, but that could be a symbol to that for that. The three realms: heaven, earth, and hell. That looks like Skynet, basically. Like an image used in Terminator films. And also a symbolic reference to worldwide connection and one world control. So there you go, that's my breakdown, second part 2 breakdown of the Huawei advert. So very interesting there. Leave your comments in the comment section. Sorry it was a bit of a long one, or a long 2, should I say. But I just found this really, really interesting when it popped up. I actually had to go through. I was watching this video, okay, by this channel I like to watch. And this ad came up and I didn't record it and I had to keep going on to about 20 plus videos to get this ad to come up again. So yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. What do you think about it? Leave it in the comments. Anything I missed here, leave in the comments.